So we had talked about Saturn's transits, and I have not talked about all the intricacies of Saturn's transit yet. I have not done yet. No. Just once more Saturn's transit. We had already seen in one chart where I had actually taken the aspect of Saturn on houses other than the 10th house. That means I'm starting to go beyond Kantak Shani. Now, have you heard of Sade Sati? That you've heard about. When does Sade Sati happen?
When the moon is in the 12th, or the Shani in transit is in the 12th of the moon, over the moon, and the 2nd from the moon.
Yes, correct. What's the difference?
Difference is probably that before you're kind of forced to give. So maybe you have a lot of expenditure and there's a lot of things you have to do, but then when it goes over moon, it affects your status in society.
Okay.
Affects your money.
The 12th from the moon, remember when we speak of the moon, the 12th from the moon is most important for your relationships. It is most important for intimacy. When you study Shubha and Ashubha yogas, you realize this. Intimacy is very important from the moon's 12th house.
Okay.
Whereas 2nd house is more important for your career.
Yeah.
And here's the reason. Basically, when we take these into account, we are looking at the kendras from the moon.
Okay.
4th house is your home. This is your personal life. So, planets in trines to the 4th house from moon affect this. And more particularly the 12th from moon, because it's the closest to the moon's position.
Okay.
Yes. We are speaking of a closeness also. This is when you study the moon more, you study the full moon and new moon aspects of it, the high tide and low tide. So the moon's closest positions to the moon are most important, and particularly the 12th, the 1st and the 2nd from moon are the most important. So the 12th from moon relates to your personal life. So when Saturn goes in the Sade Sati, in the 12th from moon, you will have problems in relationships. I will get into the details of this soon, where I'll also explain that Sade Sati need not always be bad. But in most cases, your Sade Sati is only bad for health. I'll tell you this. Health is the main issue with Sade Sati. Main issue. Always. That means what? That you have trouble in your home situation, home area, because you are getting bad food and things like that. If it's in 12th of moon. Okay? You're getting bad food. If it's in the moon sign itself, your health itself is going down. If it's the 2nd from moon, it means your career is giving you too much stress. Okay? You can also see this from other positions in the horoscope. Not just the moon. You can see it from Lagna, from Arudha Lagna. Okay?
Okay.
But understand that this is not the main problem with Chinese transits. It's not the main problem. Study this from the other positions in the chart. If a Saturn transit is causing a 2nd house problem to the moon, and at the same time is affecting, say, the trines to Arudha Lagna, then it's very, very bad for health because of a work and career, finances and things like that. If a Kantak Shani is there, look at that also. Okay? Got it? Now, for Sade Sati, the remedies are supposed to be 3. And mainly, it is, I would have to be more careful now, but I believe it is Ganesha in the 12th from the moon, and it is Hanuman or Rudra in the 2nd from the moon. And
you don't talk so much about the Vedic moon position when Shani is going over the moon.
Yes, we do, because that's what we're referring to also. Let us assume that moon is in the 5th house and Shani decides to transit the moon, sign itself. That means, due to your mantra being broken, your health is going down. Okay? And this also affects relations because Saturn will aspect each 7th house.
So it's a little bit of both when the Shani is right on the moon. It's both relationship and career.
You have to judge from all aspects of the chart. You know, what we did in his chart, this other person's chart we did before. We saw Saturn was in Cancer.
Yeah.
It is in 10th from moon, trines to Arudha Lagna, 3rd from Lagna, aspect in 5th from Lagna. See? Good.
Yeah.
We saw everything. Simply judge in this way. Now, the remedy is given in Vedic remedies, so I will not get into details about it. It's given in Vedic remedies. Okay? Yes. Good. So, that is Shani's transit. Lordships must also be taken into account with Shani's transit. Chandrakala says, if Shani transits over the 8th Lord, or trines to 8th Lord, the person may die. Serious illness may come, the person may die. Specifically 8th Lord. I will get back to this also. I'll get back to this. That is as much as I want to cover with Shani's Rasi transit. If I want to cover more, I'm going to get into some nitty-gritty details about transits. So, now we're going from Saturn's transit, the inauspicious one, to Jupiter's transit, the auspicious one. Okay? By the way, Shani can be very good in transit, even say 3rd or 6th from Arudha Lagna. I must mention that.
So Shani in 3rd or 6th from Arudha?
Yes, or 11th.
But this is only from Arudha, not from Lagna?
Only from Arudha Lagna. It is good also from Lagna, but it's better from Arudha Lagna. Because we want to see when something is going to manifest in this world. If Saturn transits the Upapada, relationships and marriage problems will start. They will.
What about trines to Upapada?
Means the spouse is going to have ill health. Trines to Dharapada, affairs will be broken. Dharapada is relations and affairs, physical relationships. Businesses will break. A10, career, Rajyapada, your company is going to go down the drain or have problems. Okay? A5, mantras will break and children will have health problems in general. Based on whether it's trines or it's aspect. Good.
What is it? Okay.
So basically what you've done from the Arudha Lagna itself, you expand to all the other Arudas in the chart. Okay?
That makes sense. But can you look at it not just in conjunction or in trines to, but also an aspect to the trines? And
not aspect to the trines, but aspect to the Arudha itself, yes.
Aspect to the Arudha itself.
Yes. Okay. How about aspect to the 10th from the Arudha? Kantak Shani, for that particular person.
Okay. So if it was aspect to the trine of a particular Arudha, it's so faint out. It could be that the child gets a cold.
Don't even look at it then.
It's too faint. But it could be that the child gets a cold. If it's in the
what will you say? If Saturn is aspecting a trine from, say, A5, that means during those 2.5 years the person will get a cold. Don't even look at it.
No big deal.
No big deal, yeah?
But still there would be an effect.
You see, the problem is when Saturn actually is in a trine to an Arudha, he's going to remove the mantra in Kavacha.
Yeah,
when he aspects it, it just means, oh, maybe the mantra is breaking, or maybe the blessing is breaking, 9th house, 5th house. Not worth it. Not even worth looking at. It means something else also. That's what it means. It means if the 5th house is broken, that means the person's protection and the future projection is going away. The person may lose their idea of what they're supposed to do in the future.
Can we turn this around with those remedies I mentioned in the Vedic remedies? Could that change Saturn around so it's a major blessing?
If Saturn is, say, in 3rd or 6th from Arudha, or Arudas?
No, it could be in trance to the A5, for instance. Could we change that with mantras completely so that we can protect the child?
Yes, of course. Yes. It is better in such cases to also look at the child's chart to see if a dasa or something like that needs to be remedied rather than a transit itself. You see that? I'm keeping something in mind here. Karma may be predominating, but the transits are showing the manifestation of it.
So what you're doing is you can use the transits here, say, oh, there's a problem here coming up. Let's look at the dasha for that particular part.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
What if you have a Shana?
Yes. That must be dominating, yes?
And Shani is going into trine to that particular Shani. If you have, like, for instance, I have a Shana in the 11th house.
Yes.
Shani just transited over there from its last position, not this kind of one.
Okay.
In that period, that particular person, or whatever was indicated, even a Devata or whatever, was cursing me even more because of Shani manifesting the problem.
That is a time when you will definitely see the results of the curse. Yes. Okay. Correct. Because you will start seeing the weakness that was there.
So we could use this as a timing also for whatever is there. Not
of course.
Muladasha.
Of course. But Muladasha must dominate. It must take predominance in this case.
But still, in trying to that Shapa, the planet on the Shapa,
naturally it must give some results because you are starting to see all the evil associated with that.
Good. Okay.
But in this case, I would not take trine, I would take aspect. Saturn's aspect is associated with actual seeing weaknesses. Its trinal position does not mean it is seeing a weakness, but it may be removing a kavacha. So in a sense, let us say you had a curse in the 11th house. Then when Saturn has graha drishti on the 11th house, that is the time when you will see the weaknesses associated with that house, which is associated with the curse also if the curse is in the 11th house. But when he comes to a trine from that, it just means that, okay, let's say he's in 3rd house, or 11th house, or in 5th house, 7th house, sorry. More likely 7th or 3rd. Then in such cases, the kavacha, the protection to that problem is going away. Maybe some lacking protection in that area. It does not mean you're seeing the weaknesses. You see that? Very significant difference.
That's the difference. Now, what about, say, if Shani is Pachak for that planet, or he's perhaps Karaka, or he's something
You're
else.
talking a natal position.
Yeah, he's going over something, like for instance, one that knows, he knows the weaknesses are, say that. Or would that make it worse than in normal instances? And if he's Pancha,
in natural significations, yes. Natural. For example, Saturn, you see Pachakadi Sambandha. Now you're combining something.
Yeah.
Pachakadi Sambandha is intricately connected to the Naisargika Sambandhas. It is connected. That is why Saturn and Sun hate each other.
Oh.
Okay? So naturally Saturn is very bad for health if he's transiting the Lagna or something like that. Or the Sun, because he's bad for that. Yes. That is natural Sambandha, yes. So it's not omitting that. We're not going away from that.
Okay.
So it's not something distinct with Pachakari Sambandha.
Okay.
But now we're only using natural Sambandhas. We cannot use functional Sambandhas.
Okay. All right.
I think that's what your real questions were.
Yeah, there's still things I'm trying to combine here, But then you could go into a very deep analysis and look at Tatkalika and Sargika and Pachak, etc. and say...
No, we cannot use Tatkalika.
Okay.
No.
Because again, we cannot use Shani's rulership in the chart. We cannot use what you said, Tatkalika, because it's just Shani. It's just up in the sky.
We are just
universal.
Yes. See, now you're asking a very significant question. Do lordships matter? Do not matter. Kantak Shani cannot be good for some and bad for others. If you look at it this way, Saturn is carrying your sins. It does not mean that if he's lording Lagna, that it's good for you that he's carrying your sins. No. If he decides to put all the sins in our
Shani is stupid. That's it.
No, he's very clever.
That's clever. But you just said that they're evil. He's evil.
He gives evil because you start seeing all the evil you have done in your past lives. That's why he gives the evil. Okay? It's not like we can call him the devil. You cannot say devil is transiting over this side. No. Saturn is showing you the weaknesses and the sins you have from your past lives. Okay? So, now there is something you can infer from natal positions of Shani. Some people are better at handling these problems, based on their natal positions of Shani. Because they're used to Shani. If a person has Saturn aspecting their Lagna, or Lagnesha, or something like that, or Saturn is the Lagna Lord, this person is used to being hammered by Saturn all day long. So Saturn going into Kantak Shani is like, oh, I know, I just have to do this. They're used to it already. Okay? So it's easier for them to handle, but it does not remove the issue.
No. The attitude is different.
Attitude will be slightly different. Any more questions regarding Shani's transit?
No, that's it.
Okay, good. So, next step, after we've gone from Shani, we have to go to Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is a peculiar fellow. He'll give all the good results from what we've seen before. That is, when he aspects the 10th house from Moon, Lagna, or Arudha Lagna, he ensures that the career starts, the Karma Yoga begins, the Karma Yoga is getting better. When he aspects the Upapada, he ensures that the person is getting good marriage, good relationships, things like that. All that is natural. There are a few exceptions. If Jupiter transits the trines to Arudha Lagna, it is also bad. Why? Because Jupiter has a very specific quality associated with him, that is, he is Satyavari. He speaks the truth. He is truth itself. He is Satya.
And Arudha Lagna is not Satya, it's a Maya.
Yes, it is Maya. So there is some inauspiciousness associated with when Jupiter is in trines to the Arudha Lagna. In Kendra, it means he is supporting. But in trines, it means he is removing the untruth associated with the Arudha.
So you could be revealed, exposed to a certain degree.
Rather not you yourself, unless Jupiter is on the Arudha Lagna. But when he's in the 5th or 9th, then what happens is, in the 5th house, you start doubting your students, the people who are supporting you.